The company has a long history of great same-store sales growth. Only twice in a 15-year history have same-store sales declined barely. In 2003 at 2%, and in 2009, coming off that recession year, we were down 9%. The good news is that we followed that up with fiscal year 2010 with increases of 7%, and our most recent fiscal year of 9% same-store sales growth. Our fiscal year runs October through September. We just finished our first quarter of fiscal 12 of 13%. So that's led us to 8 straight quarters of same-store sales growth, 23 consecutive months dating back to February 2010. You'll see there's some impressive quarter by quarter. The nice news is that most of that growth has come through transaction increases. We took a little price in February 2010. We have not done so since. And so most of the growth has come through transactions, and most of all of it in the last 4 quarters has come strictly from transactions. Our 2-year growth, you notice that we needed that growth to start going coming out of 2009, but it's nicely led to real strong 2-year growth numbers. With our most recent quarter, that finished 13%, was going up a tough comparable of 16% in the prior year in that quarter. So that's given us some nice 2-year growth, and again, really transaction-based for us. The last 3 years have given us nice gains in our average unit volumes for the total company and unit level contribution. Back in 2009, we finished with average unit volumes of just over $900,000. We've increased that to just over $1.1 million. And our unit level contribution, which was at 13.7% of revenues, is now at 17%. That 17% includes about a 60 basis point increase in cost of goods. So if you bake that in, it's been a nice growth over the last 2 years for us. The better news is that over the last 3 years, the most recent 5 openings we've done have yielded better than system average returns and average unit volumes and at the unit level contribution margin. Back in 2009, those units produced annual revenues of just over $1 million, and now, finishing 2011, those 5 units averaged north of $1.4 million. 2 of those units, the unit we opened in 2010 finished its first 12 months at $1.65 million, and the most recent opening in 2011, which will turn 1 year on February 4th of 2012, will surpass the $2 million mark tomorrow and finish at $2.1 million in its first 12 months. So we're really excited about it. And only 2 of those 5 units have been open for 3 years. So upon 3 years maturity, we feel that these numbers will greatly improve. So that's a little bit of history about where we've been the last couple of years: strong same-store sales growth, improved margins. I'll give you a little bit of history about the company. The company's been built on these 5 pillars. It started with food. It was a food play at first. It then turned into an obsession with guests and how we communicate with them. And then it quickly turned into the realization that the people that work for the local, or the people we work with, would help us build a great company. We've always been involved. We've always considered ourselves to be a generous neighbor. And we've never been afraid to enter into technology, and that started way back in the early years of Loco, and most recently, as you'll find out. When we present as a burrito chain, one of the elephants in the room is, what about the big guys? How is Loco different? Are they different? How do they compete? So last April 1st, for April Fools, we ran a promotion around. If you can't beat them, join them. We had a lot of fun with this promotion. But the reality is we are different. Well, we serve burritos. We know why we're different. We know why the burritos are different. Hopefully I'll be able to explain that to you. But if you did leave today with one thing, and you didn't remember a lot, the one thing you would remember is that we are not chipped over. So as I said, in 1997, it was all about the food. It was strictly a food play. It was just like every other restaurant, Loco would succeed on food and food alone. The company was founded by four guys in their mid-20s with an addiction to burritos. And the thought was that using diverse flavors within the tortilla, or as we call it, innovation within the tortilla, would build a big, strong company. Game over. Well, we soon realized that food alone wasn't going to be the play. There would be other things involved, and I'll go through those. This picture here you're looking at is one of the flavors we run as a limited time offer. It's the late November. We ran it in November and December. It's got the turkey, the stuffing, cranberry chutney, and green beans. Really great flavors. As I mentioned, we have a wide variety of smoothies and shakes. This is our Jimmy Carter shake with bananas, peanut butter, and frozen yogurt. Our breakfast burrito called the Truck Stop with bacon, egg, jack cheese, and potatoes. Our Nutella milkshake with Nutella, frozen yogurt, and skim milk. And we also have the classic Mexican. We have 8 hot burritos, we have 4 cold burritos or wraps, and we have a selection of 8 different smoothies and shakes. What we are not is a supersized company. We do have the original size burrito, which you'll see on your left. It's a 20, 21 ounce burrito, just like people are used to ordering. But we have 2 other sizes. We have a small burrito, which weighs in about 16 ounces, and in February of 2010, we introduced the mini size. About 50% of our sales come from this small size. We feel that by giving people multiple flavor options, multiple size options, that they'll be able to latch on to more than one flavor burrito and see a lot of them back more often. The mini was a great introduction for us. As you saw in the previous slides, our same-store sales growth, the current streak we're on started in February 2010, the exact month we introduced the mini. It's not all in part due to the mini, but it certainly helped allow people to introduce themselves to the logo at a lower price point. It allowed them to bundle multiple flavors together in one purchase. And most recently, it's become a great platform for catering. We introduced a catering menu in 2011, hired a team of people to go and sell it. And if you can imagine a platter of mini showing up in your office with 12 different flavor options, or options that you choose, because we do allow people to build their own, it's been a great platform and a great revenue generator for us in the past year. So after food, it turned into guests, and it was early on, and the thought was that how could Boloco, even at its small size, be one of those companies that responded to every single guest no matter what? And back then, it was done through an AOL account, an 800 number. Well, technology today has made that a lot easier, and it's sort of assisted us and catapulted us into this obsession about guest service. If you do any research on Boloco, research on what some people call legendary guest service. We don't refer to that inside Boloco as that, but we just make sure, if anything, that their voice is heard and that we constantly create a dialogue with our guests. We understand we may not be able to accommodate every single guest for their needs, but we certainly make their voice heard and create that dialogue. The third pillar is people. It was quickly realized after going through the food and the guests that we were building a company on the backs of others, that had little choice, maybe only work at Boloco, and then internally became about taking care of our people. That was back 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Today, the company mission is to positively impact the lives and futures of our people through bold food and practices. And that's something we live by every day. Our founder and CEO, John Pepper's main objective is to make sure that in everything we do, that we strive to improve the quality of lives of our people. And if we do that, then those people will serve great food, those people will deliver great service, and then that will help us build a better business. In the mid-2000s, it became more about the community and the environment. Boloco's always been involved in the community and the environment, but it became about saying yes no matter what. Yes, we can help you. It became the default answer. And it's become part of everything we do. It's become also a marketing plan. But what we do is we get involved in the communities and nonprofits, and every single promotion we run is tied to a nonprofit. The late November picture you saw before, we donated a proceed to every burrito we sold to the November campaign, which raises awareness for men's cancer. And that's been an important part of what we do over the past 7 years. On top of the community was making sure that we were taking strides to improve the environment. As mentioned earlier, we were the first chain to be recognized 2-star certified by the Green Restaurant Association, which is great, but our goal is to just every year to make meaningful steps to provide improvements in the environment. We felt like we've done that since 2006, whether it's being the materials we use in building the restaurants, or the packaging we use in the compostable cups and utensils, or composting our food, that we've been able to at least every year say that we've made strides in improving that. We also tie a lot of fun into what we do with our neighborhoods. This picture here is 4 team members on a 100-mile bike ride in Hanover, New Hampshire to benefit the Norris Cancer Institute. And we participate in a lot of the events in the Boston area, whether it be the Boston Half Marathon. We did a 200-mile relay. It's about getting our people involved, and our people really live and breathe this every day. The last piece is the technology. And the technology, and some people refer to Boloco as a technology company or a social media company, and we don't consider ourselves to be that, but what we've never been afraid of is to enter into technology. Way back early on in the early years, we introduced high-speed internet to all our restaurants in 2001 without really knowing what effect it would have on the restaurants, what it was fully going to be used for. We introduced our first electronic gift card in 2002, a week before Starbucks. Most recently, and what you're looking at is remote ordering kiosks. We have the online ordering, we have our mobile applications. These ordering kiosks provide multiple order entry points inside the restaurant that don't take a cashier to be behind them. They're available anytime. It increases the order points that our operations can handle. It provides for greater throughputs. It provides for people that may not want that human interaction to bypass that. It provides for our most loyal guests to go and swipe their card and their last 4 orders pop up so they can get in and out. And it's not about taking away that human interaction. What it actually does for those that want it is it provides more meaningful human interaction for those that want to go to the POS station. So we have these in about 5 restaurants. Our most recent restaurant, which is the one that will finish just north of $2 million, does about 23% of its transactions through 2 ordering kiosks and 3 POS stations. So where does this all get us? This map, what's this map showing? On the green swirls, you'll see where we are, and on the black ones, you'll see where we're going. As I mentioned, we finished fiscal 2011 with 17 locations. We just opened our 18th location last month on the 4 Point Channel Seaport District in Boston, an up-and-coming neighborhood with lots of development. We'll continue to expand into the suburbs of Boston. We have 5 additional leases signed already. We will enter into Rhode Island this year with our first freestanding and drive-thru location. We feel that drive-thru coupled with the portability of our food is going to be a great revenue contributor to our model. We will also enter the Washington, D.C. metropolitan market for our first major market outside of New England. We have 2 leases signed and under design right now are locations in Bethesda Row, Maryland, and also on 19th Street in downtown. We're continuing to look at sites in Connecticut. We'll continue to look at sites in New England and continue to look at sites to expand the Washington, D.C. area for the next couple of years. So this next slide shows where we believe our growth can take us. In 2012, we'll finish with the $22 million in revenue. We feel that with the capital on hand that we have now, the internal generated cash that we'll generate on our own. We have great financial partners in Winona Capital Management, which has provided us funding to assist us with this next round of growth. We feel that with all that, we can open 3 to 5 locations for the next couple of years on our own. What this slide depicts is with an additional equity, small equity, is that we feel we can get to 50 locations pretty quickly. Internally, our company goal is to get to 150 locations by 2017. Obviously, that would take more equity, but we feel that we've started to lay the foundation for growth. And this is an important year for us. Growing 6 locations on the base of 17 and entering the second market, we feel that this will be the year that will take us to the next level. So I think that's 15 minutes. I got some time, so I'll take any questions. As a percentage of total sales, it's low. It's in the single digits. We have 3 locations in downtown Boston, in the financial district, which run between 10 and 12% of sales. System-wide, we're at about 4%, but 8 of our locations don't have it. So with the restaurants that do have breakfast, if you blend the downtown with the rest, we're at about 7%. Most of